The sun burned hot over the Rub al Khali. It's also known as the Empty Quarter, the largest desert on Earth. Wind blew over endless dunes, its moving sand like waves in a golden ocean. But today, the desert was hiding a secret. Dr. Alina Voss, a well-known scientist in the field of space technology, stood in the middle of the sand with a team of researchers behind her. She was tall, calm, and always focused. Her long coat flapped in the wind as she looked at the metal object poking out of the ground. "This is not a rock," she said softly, brushing more sand off the shiny surface. "This is a ship. Started a few days earlier when a strange earthquake had been detected deep in the desert. But there were no tectonic plates in this area. Didn't make sense. Satellite scans showed an unnatural shape beneath the sand, too smooth and too perfect to be natural. That's when Alina and her team were sent to investigate. Using special machines and digging equipment, the team worked day and night to remove the sand. Bit by bit, more of the object came into view. It was huge, at least 300 meters long, shaped like a crescent moon, made of a dark silver material that didn't reflect sunlight. It's like the surface drinks light. One of the researchers, Amir, said with amazement, "News leaked faster than they could contain it. Images taken by drones began to spread online. The whole world started watching. Was this a secret weapon? A lost invention? Or something more mysterious?" Within 48 hours, military forces arrived. Tanks, helicopters, and black vans surrounded the site. Flags from different countries flew side by side, and the United Nations declared the area an international scientific zone. Still, Alina remained the lead scientist on the project. She had spent her life studying signals from space and working with NASA and ESA, but even she had never seen anything like this. On the third day, they discovered a circular panel on the side of the ship. It had no buttons, no wires, just a smooth surface. Out of curiosity, Alina touched it. The ground shook lightly. A low hum came from deep within the ship. Then, with a hiss, the metal split open, forming a doorway. Ramp slowly extended down onto the sand. Everyone stepped back. Soldiers raised their weapons. Drones flew closer, scanning the dark hallway now visible inside. "Alina," Amir said nervously, "do we go in?" Alina took a deep breath. "We came here to learn, so yes, we go in." Wearing suits with oxygen sensors and lights on their shoulders, the team stepped into the ship. The air was clean, even fresh. There was no dust inside, no signs of age. The walls were smooth and curved, glowing faintly with lines of blue light. They walked slowly, recording every detail. It didn't feel like a machine. It felt alive, like the ship was watching them. After 10 minutes, they reached the center chamber. A wide, round room with a tall ceiling and strange symbols floating in the air. At the center of the room stood a glass capsule. Inside it was a human. The team froze. Their cameras zoomed in. The figure inside looked like a man in his 20s, strong, peaceful, and still breathing. Wires connected to his body through the capsule's walls. He looked asleep, not dead. "Is he real?" one of the scientists asked. Alina's voice trembled. "Yes, and he's human." She scanned his face, his skin, the smooth black suit he wore. Everything about him seemed advanced. But how could a human be inside an alien ship? And how long had he been here? Back outside, the news had exploded. Every major news channel on Earth was covering the story. People gathered around screens in cities, towns, and villages. The whole world held its breath. World leaders called emergency meetings. Some feared it was a threat. Others saw it as the most important discovery in human history. Alina stood silently by the capsule. Her hand rested gently on the glass. She didn't know who he was or why he was here, but something inside her whispered that this moment would change everything. The desert had given up its secret, but the true mystery was only beginning. The sun had not yet risen, but the desert base around the mysterious spaceship was already full of activity. Tents, lights, and machines surrounded the huge craft like a city built overnight. Inside the alien ship, the strange capsule with the sleeping human had become the center of attention. Dr. Alina Voss stood in the middle of the main chamber, her eyes fixed on the glass pod. The man inside still hadn't moved, but his chest slowly rose and fell proof he was alive. His face was calm, like someone in a deep dream. Beside her, Amir checked the readings on his tablet. Heartbeat steady. Body temperature is slightly higher than normal, but nothing dangerous. It's brain activity. It's active. Very active. It's like he's dreaming, Alina said softly. Scientists from different countries worked together, trying to understand the ship's systems. The walls responded to touch, but didn't open any other doors. Strange symbols floated in the air, but no one could read them. Still, the ship's power was stable. It was clear this place was not dead. It was sleeping. Suddenly a low beep echoed through the chamber. The capsule lit up with a soft blue glow. Everyone turned toward it. The man inside twitched. His fingers moved slightly. He's waking up, Amir shouted. Alarms rang outside. Military guards rushed in. Cameras were switched on. The entire world was about to witness something no one had ever seen before. A hiss came from the capsule, and steam escaped from its edges. The glass slid open slowly. The man inside took a deep breath and opened his eyes. He sat up calmly and looked around. His eyes were sharp, but not afraid. He focused on Alina and spoke in perfect English. Where am I? Alina stepped forward, shocked. You're on Earth, in the Rub al-Khali desert. Who are you? The man touched his head and blinked a few times. My name is Kale. I'm from Earth too, but not this time. I was sent forward. This ship is a scout. I was its pilot. The entire room went silent. Amir whispered, sent forward. From when? Kale looked at the ship's glowing wall, then back at them. From 50,000 years ago. The shock was too big to process. Some scientists laughed nervously. Others just stared in disbelief. Alina stayed calm. It's not possible. Humans were barely... Kale nodded. I know, but your history is missing many things, my people. Ark builders left Earth long ago, before the Ice Age covered the continents. We built cities in space, traveled to other stars. But we knew the silence was coming. So we left behind pieces of our knowledge, people like me, to return when Earth was ready. He stood up slowly. The black suit he wore moved like a second skin. His body seemed strong, perfect, and balanced. Looked like a human, but also something more. Why are you here now? Alina asked. Kale's expression turned serious. Because you found the signal. The world has entered a new age. Space travel, AI, energy weapons, your world is waking up. Well, that means others will see you too. Was programmed awake when that time came. Medical scans were done quickly. Kale's DNA matched human DNA to 100%, but he had no diseases. Perfect muscle structure and strange nanotech in his blood. He healed quickly, and his brain waves moved faster than any known human. Outside, the world had gone wild. Every news station reported the story. People asked, was he telling the truth? Was Earth once home to an ancient advanced human race? Governments wanted Kale under heavy guard. Some feared he might be dangerous. But Alina defended him. He's not a threat. He's a key. He knows things we've never imagined. Kalea was moved to a special UN lab built beside the ship. Scientists asked him hundreds of questions. He answered calmly, showing knowledge of space travel, lost history, and star maps, with places no human telescope had seen. He explained the ship's basic controls. With his help, the team accessed parts of the ship they couldn't before. Inside were rooms filled with floating data crystals, holographic maps, and ancient Earth symbols written alongside alien ones. Kale showed them a hologram of Earth, how it looked. 50,000 years ago, lush forests, clean oceans, and massive cities made of glowing stone. He spoke of the war with the silence, a mysterious enemy that didn't speak, didn't stop, erased entire worlds. The Ark builders, his people, had left Earth to survive. But now, Earth had grown strong again. It was time to reconnect. In private, Kale spoke to Alina. You are different, he said. How? She asked. You listen. You ask the right questions. You want to understand, not just control. Smiled. That's why I became a scientist. Dodd. He looked at the stars through a small window. There's so much more out there. But the past must come first. There are still secrets buried on this planet. We need to find them before someone else does. Alina nodded slowly. She didn't fully understand Kale's story yet, but deep inside, she felt something important was beginning. Humanity had found a key to its lost past, and maybe ... future too. For the next few days, Kale became the center of the world's attention. News channels showed his image day and night. Some people called him a time traveler. Others called him a guardian from the past. Some believed he was a fake, but no one could ignore him. In the UN research camp, beside the alien ship, Kale remained calm. He answered questions, helped scientists understand the technology, shared knowledge that seemed impossible. Dr. Alina Voss watched him closely. She had studied science her whole life, but nothing had prepared her for someone like Kale. He was kind, wise, and spoke in a calm voice. Yet, behind his quiet words, she could sense great pain, like he had seen too much. One morning, Alina brought him to a private lab inside the ship. "We scanned your DNA again," she told him. "It's human, completely, but your genes are cleaner, stronger, no signs of disease or weakness." Kale nodded. "My body was built for survival. My people believed in improving life, not changing what it means to be human. They only removed what was dangerous disease, aging, and pain." Amir entered the room with a new report. His brain waves are faster than anything we've ever seen. He can think, remember, and solve problems quicker than our most advanced A is. Kale smiled. "We used to build A's to learn from us, not to replace us." Later that day, he asked Alina to follow him deeper into the ship. They passed a long corridor that hadn't been opened yet. With just a wave of his hand, the doors slid open. Inside was a massive chamber filled with floating screens, glowing spheres, and strange machines. "This is the memory core," Kale said. "It holds the history of my people. Everything we learned, everything we lost." The screens came too. Life, showing images of ancient Earth, forests without cities, oceans without ships, and a sky full of strange stars. Then came the ship Silver, smooth, flying high into the sky. Humans, like Kale, stood beside them, wearing suits with glowing symbols. Alina watched in awe. "You really were far ahead of us." Kale nodded. "But we paid a price. We discovered something we couldn't defeat. We called it the silence." The screens changed. Black shapes moved through space-huge dark vessels that didn't send. Signals didn't speak and destroyed anything in their path. They erased worlds. Not just life, but memories, cultures, even light. Entire planets were turned into silence. Alina's eyes widened. Why? What did they want? We never knew. They didn't talk. They didn't take. They just came. Kale turned to her. "That's why we left Earth. To hide. To protect our history, and maybe return one day. That day is now." Alina's voice was quiet. "And what if the silence comes again?" Kale looked up at the stars shown on the ceiling. "Then we must be ready, and this time we will not run." Back at the base, other scientists were studying the ship's outer structure. They discovered that the ship wasn't made of metal. It was grown like a living thing. It could heal itself, change shape, and even respond to feelings. Amir explained it simply. The ship is part machine, part biology. It's alive, but controlled by thoughts. Kale confirmed it. "Our minds were trained from birth to speak with machines. We didn't use buttons or codes. We used focus, emotion, and logic." Soon, Alina noticed something strange. Kale was remembering more as time passed. First, he spoke carefully, slowly. But now, memories were returning faster. He told her, "The stasis chamber didn't just keep me alive. It paused parts of my mind. As I adjust to your world, the memories unlock." That evening, Kale sat with Alina under the stars. The desert air was cool, and the sky was full of light. "I remember now," he said. "My last day on old Earth. I stood on a mountain, watching the last sunrise before my ship left. My people, ... They sang together. It was beautiful. Then we left not knowing if we would ever return." Lena listened in silence. She could feel the weight in his words. "You miss them?" she asked. He nodded. "Every moment. But I was chosen for this task, to return, to guide, and to warn." She looked at him carefully. "Are you alone?" Cale paused. "Not exactly. There were others, other scouts like me, sent to different places. But I don't know if they survived." That night, Alina wrote in her journal, "Cale is not just a visitor. He's a mirror. Reflection of what humanity can become. He holds the knowledge of a lost future, and maybe the key to saving our own." The next morning, everything changed. One of the ship's systems turned on by itself. A light beam shot into the sky, silent, focused, and strong. It reached beyond the atmosphere and disappeared into space. Alarms rang across the base. Scientists panicked. Alina and Cale rushed to the control room. "What is it?" Lena asked. Cale's face turned pale. "It's a signal. Beacon. It means I'm awake. Who will hear it?" Cale stared at the screen. "Everyone?" A deep silence filled the control room. Everyone stared at the screen where the beacon signal had just vanished into space. The beam had lasted only seconds, but its effect was clear. "It's a message," Cale said. "A signal to the stars. It means I'm alive, and that Earth is awake again." Alina's voice was tight. "You said others will hear it? Who exactly?" Cale looked serious. "Anyone watching? My people? Maybe? The silence, probably?" The word silence hung in the air like a shadow, even though no one fully understood what it meant. It filled the room with tension. A meeting was called at once. Top scientists, military officers, and UN representatives gathered in the main tent just outside the ship. Cale stood in the center with Alina beside him. The UN leader, a tall man named Director Tan, asked the question everyone feared. Did we just invite danger to our planet? Cale didn't lie. Yes, but danger was always coming. Earth is growing fast. Your technology is improving. Your signals reach other planets. Silence would have found you eventually, Alina added. So we're not safe either way. But now we have a chance to prepare. Cale nodded. Exactly. This ship is the first step. It holds more than just history. It holds weapons, defense systems, and knowledge your world has lost. The room was filled with whispers. Some were excited, others afraid, but the decision was made. Cale would help unlock the ship's secrets. Inside the ship, Cale led Alina and her team to a sealed door that had not opened before. He placed his hand on a panel, and the door slowly slid open with a soft hum. Beyond, it was a room filled with floating objects, crystals, memory spheres, and machines that moved on their own. Light from the walls glowed gently, casting dancing patterns on their faces. This is the core archive, Cale explained. It contains everything my people saved. Earth's lost history. Our science. Our warnings. The crystals floated toward Cale as if they recognized him. He picked one and handed it to Alina. The moment she touched it, her vision changed. Images, sounds, and feelings filled her mind. She saw ancient Earth, cities floating in the sky, rivers of light flowing through, forests, children learning by touching glowing plants. Then she saw the silenced dark ships, swallowing stars, spreading shadows. Leaving behind only empty worlds, she gasped and dropped the crystal. It's too much, she whispered. Cale gently caught her arm. That's only a glimpse. There's more. Some things are too dangerous to release quickly, but others you need now. Over the next few days, Cale helped translate hundreds of memory crystals. He showed the team how to read the symbols and unlock the data. Slowly, the truth came out. Humanity had once ruled a network of planets known as the Arc Chain. Earth was the center, the origin. Then the silence arrived, and one by one the colonies fell. The Ark builders sent out ships, knowledge, and guardians. Like Kale, hoping that one day someone would find them. Alina stared at a star map inside the ship. Dozens of red dots marked lost colonies. A few blue dots showed remaining safe zones. Earth was marked in gold. What does gold mean? She asked. Kale's answer was quiet. It means hope. While Kale worked with the scientists, the outside world changed. Nations began sharing research. For the first time in history, rival countries formed a global space alliance. Factories started building prototypes based on the alien ships. Designed satellites were upgraded. Plans for defense stations were drawn. Alina gave speeches at world meetings. She explained that Earth was not alone in the universe. Humanity had a forgotten past, a dangerous future. Not everyone agreed. Some people thought Kale was lying. Protests began in some cities. Few leaders wanted to control the ship for power. But the truth was stronger than fear. One night, as the desert wind blew softly, Kale and Alina stood near the ship, looking at the stars. Kale said, "This world reminds me of my childhood. Before the war, before we left." Alina looked at him. "Do you miss it?" He nodded. "Every day. But now, I see something special here. You're people. You're strong, curious, and you still have something we lost." "What's that?" she asked. Kale smiled. "Wonder?" A week later, an alert broke the calm. One of Earth's deep space telescopes picked up something unusual. Dark object massive and fast was entering the solar system. It didn't respond to signals. It didn't slow down. It was coming straight toward Earth. Alina rushed to the command center. Scientists were already tracking it. "It's not a comet," said Amir. "It's artificial. It's a ship." Kale stepped forward. He didn't blink. "It's them." Silence has seen the signal. Quiet fear spread through the room. "How much time do we have?" Alina asked. 3 weeks, Kale answered. Maybe less. Outside, the desert was quiet. But inside the ship, lights began to glow on their own. The ship was waking up. Kale touched a control panel and the walls shifted. Weapon systems, shield generators, and defense patterns appeared on the screen. Earth's first defense was no longer a dream. The countdown had begun. But so had the awakening of something even greater: humanity's lost strength. The desert air was still, but tension filled every corner of the UN research camp. After Kale's ship had sent the mysterious signal into deep space, everything had changed. Inside the command center, scientists worked around the clock. Drones flew above, watching the skies. Engineers studied the alien technology. Kale? He watched the stars. Alina stood beside him, holding a tablet filled with readings. 3 different observatories have confirmed it, she said. Something is coming. Large, fast, and not responding to any of our signals. Kale's eyes narrowed. The silence has hurt us. Quiet fear spread through the room. No one spoke for a moment. "But why are they coming so fast?" Amir asked. Kale replied calmly, "Because the ship I woke from was built as a last warning system. It was designed to send out a beacon if Earth ever reached the level of space communication again. The silence. They monitor such signals. And now, they know Earth is awake." Alina asked, "Can we stop them?" Kale looked at the holographic star map floating above the table. "We must. If we don't, Earth will fall like the others did." Global leaders were informed. Within days, countries began preparing. Space agencies shared their research. Old rivalries were paused. The world was no longer divided. Alina stepped forward and spoke at the World Science Council broadcast. "This is not just a threat to one nation. This is a threat to humanity, but we are not helpless. We have knowledge, unity, and the strength to fight back." Kale helped Earth's best minds unlock more parts of the ancient ship. It had defenses, advanced shields, energy weapons, and a system that could connect to satellites across the planet. He taught the scientists how to use these tools. Factories started working non-stop. New designs were created, combining human engineering with ancient technology. The first result, Skyguard 1, a small defense ship built using alien alloys. It flew on its first test flight 3 days later, smooth, fast, and powerful. "We can build more," said Amir, excited. "We can protect the skies." While Earth prepared its defense, Kale focused on the ship's core systems. He opened a room that had been locked until now, the navigation chamber. Inside, floating holograms showed the locations of other Ark ships hidden across the galaxy. Some were marked with green light still active, others were red lost. A few blinked yellow uncertain, Kale explained. These are the last safe zones. If Earth survives this, we can reconnect with them. The Ark chain may live again. Alina stared at the glowing stars. We were never alone. We just forgot. 2 weeks passed. Then came the final alert. Telescopes caught sight of the incoming ship. It was enormous, N times bigger than the Ark star. Black as space itself, with no windows, no engines, no signals. It absorbs light, Amir said, shocked. It's like a shadow made real. Kale stepped forward. This is how they begin. First they watch, then they test. If we survive the first wave, they'll return stronger. The silent ship moved slowly into Earth's orbit. Every defense system was activated. Satellites turned, shields powered up, and the Ark star hovered above Earth ready to fight. Kale gave orders calmly. We don't strike first. We wait. The silence never speaks, but we must show them we are ready. For ours, nothing happened. Then, a pulse. A low-frequency wave hit the Ark star. It made the walls vibrate, and some of the crew felt dizzy. Alina held her head. It's trying to confuse us. Break our minds, she said. Kale nodded. They always begin with fear. He pressed a button, activating the Ark star's counterwave. A high-frequency sound, powered by the ship's memory core, pushed back the effect. The dizziness stopped. Silent ship moved closer. Earth's Skyguard fleet launched. Dozens of human-made ships flew into the upper atmosphere. Each was armed with new plasma weapons guided by Kale's knowledge. Their pilots had trained hard. Now it was time to prove their strength. They will come in waves, Kale said. Be fast. Be united. The first energy beam from the silent ship fired. It hit an unmanned satellite station. The station exploded silently, scattering debris through space. Return fire, Alina commanded. The Sky Guards launched everything they had. Blue and white beams shot forward. Some hit the outer shield of the enemy ship. Crack appeared. Cheers rose in the control room. We can hurt them. But the silent ship responded. Small, dark drones emerged from its surface. They moved quickly, striking ships and slicing through armor. We're losing too, Amir shouted. Alina looked at Kale. We need more. Kale placed his hand on the Ark star's control panel. Then let me give you everything. He accessed the ship's full memory. It's an eye system joined with Earth's network. Satellite arrays received instant upgrades. Ground-based stations turned into shield towers. And the Ark star released its final defense, a quantum pulse that pushed the silenced drones backward. It was working. The enemy ship slowed. The silence had not expected resistance like this. Inside the control chamber, Alina's eyes were fixed on the screen. One of the human ships broke through the enemy shield and dropped a virus module designed from the ship's ancient data into the silence core. Everything stopped. The enemy ship froze. Then, slowly, began to retreat. It's leaving, someone whispered. We did it, said Amir, almost in disbelief. Kale let out a long breath. It's not the end, but it's a beginning. Earth had survived its first encounter. World leaders declared a new era, the era of unity. Space research tripled. Cities began building defense zones. Schools taught the history of the Ark builders. Alina returned to the desert ship with Kale. You said others are out there, she asked. He nodded. Now that Earth has answered the call, they may return. She looked at the stars above. For the first time, they didn't seem so far. Kale said, the silence will return. But next time we won't be afraid. Alina smiled. Next time, we'll be ready. The countdown had begun. Across the world, space agencies, scientists, engineers, and military teams worked together like never before. From the deserts of Africa to the labs of Europe, from the deep forests of Asia to the coastlines of the Americas, humanity was preparing. The silence was coming. Dr. Alina Voss stood on the deck of the ancient alien ship, now fully awake and active. Its walls glowed with soft light. The symbols inside no longer seemed strange. With Kale's help, Earth scientists had learned how to understand the ship's systems, how to read its maps, and how to activate its weapons. Kale stood beside her, calm as always. "They will test your world," he said. "But I believe in you. I believe in all of you." Alina nodded. "We're ready to fight, and more importantly, we're ready to unite." The object from deep space was now confirmed. A massive silence vessel, black, silent, and thousands of meters long. It moved without engines, without signals, as if space itself carried it forward. But Earth was not the same as before. From the knowledge inside the alien ship, human engineers built orbital defense stations, energy shields, and fast-strike drones. Old fighter jets were redesigned with new materials and weapons. For the first time, humans had ships that could go beyond the atmosphere and return safely. In the skies above Earth, new fleets were launched. Small, quick, and armed with weapons based on the ancient technology, these ships were called Sky Guards. Each one carried the flag of a different country, but they flew under one command: Earth defense. Kale became the lead strategist. His experience from the old world made him a perfect guide. The alien ship, now called the Arcstar, became the command center in space. Alina was given the highest civilian role in the force. She helped direct decisions, spoke to leaders, and reminded everyone of one truth: we are not just defending Earth. We are proving that humanity still stands. Finally, the day came. The silent ship entered Earth's orbit. It did not speak. It did not send a message. It simply moved into position above the planet. Dark clouds formed around it. Lights across the globe flickered. Gravity fields shifted, then ... It launched its first attack. A beam of black energy fired toward a satellite base over Asia, but Earth's new shields, powered by Arcstar tech, held strong. The beam bounced off and vanished into space. Seconds later, Earth's Skyguard ships launched in waves. The first space battle in human history had begun. The sky above Earth turned into a storm of light and fire. Human ships flew fast and smart. They moved in groups, hit the enemy, and pulled back. The silent ship responded with strange, slow-moving projectiles that destroyed anything they touched. But the Arcstar was not just watching. Kale activated its full weapons system. Giant energy beams fired from its core, cutting through the silence's outer shield. At the same time, Lena sent out remote drones that carried virus code, programmed by Key H2, disrupt the silence's control system. First silence turret exploded. Then another. Cheers rose from every Earth station. "We can win," Mir shouted from the control room. But the silence was not finished. Its surface opened, revealing a second ship inside, smaller but faster. Broke away and headed straight for the planet. If it reached the surface, it could destroy a city in seconds. Alina made a decision. "I'll guide the virus manually," she said. From inside the ship, Kale looked at her worried. "It's too dangerous. The closer you are, the more your mind will be affected. The silence doesn't just destroy, it confuses, weakens, and breaks willpower." Alina looked calm. "Then, I'll hold on to one thing: hope." Kale nodded and gave her a memory crystal. "If you fail, this crystal will tell others what we learned." "But I know you won't fail." Lena entered a small fighter pod with Kale's programming tools. She flew straight toward the smaller silence vessel. The sky turned dark. Her thoughts became heavy. She could feel pressure in her mind, as if something was trying to steal her memories. But she pushed forward. She focused on Earthon, the people watching, fighting, believing. She reached the ship, released the virus, and pulled. Back for a second, nothing happened. Then, lights on the silent ship blinked wildly. Its shields dropped. Systems began to overload. Kale gave the command. Now, a beam from the Arcstar fired straight through the weakened hull. The smaller ship exploded into pieces. The shock wave sent Alina's pod spinning, but she survived. The bigger silent ship began to retreat, broken, confused, and unable to respond. Earth had won. Back at the base, people cried, cheered, and hugged each other. World leaders sent messages of unity. Soldiers saluted. Scientists celebrated. Children danced in the streets. Kale and Alina stood together once more, looking at Earth from orbit. "You did it," he said. "You reminded the galaxy what humans are." Alina smiled. "What's next?" Kale looked toward the stars. "There. Are others like me? Other ships? Other Arcs? And maybe survivors of the old world? With Earth awake again, they may come back. We can build something better. A united Earth, ready to reach the stars." Alina placed her hand on the ship's glowing wall. "Then let's get started." So began a new chapter in human history. A hidden ship in the desert to a battle in space, humanity had risen not with fear, but with courage, learning, and unity. The stars were no longer far away. Now they were the next step.